streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, what an excellent rendition of the national anthem. As qualifying now going off, and Rory Collins here as we watch the rookie in the 35 truck take his lap. And Brad, these rookies here, they got a real challenge out here with all these veterans that they got to compete with.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, a lot of these guys, they're coming into this and they have a little bit less of an unknown. They don't know how their competitors are going to race. And you know what? This season has been a lot different from seasons in the past. Seasons in the past, you'd come in and you're going to be running green flag. There's going to be a lot of give and take. But it seems like this season, the aggression level is really amped up. And that's something that these rookies are really going to have to deal with, especially with such a tight battle. Everybody's just not really willing to give up that little bit of an inch to, make it through the race safe the entire time, like they did in previous seasons.
Well, speaking of that, maybe we should touch on the championship and the lack of someone in that championship. So we should bring up those stats now. So right now, Brian Helm, your leader, in second was Terry Cooper Jr. Terry Cooper Jr., speaking of aggression, there's a little incident there in the Cup race. He's going to be suspended, at least for this season, if not indefinitely, Brad. And that's a big blow to SBR and to Terry himself and to the league as a whole. He was a second place guy, and he was really coming into his own a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a fierce competitor on the track sometimes. We all kind of let our emotions get a little bit of the best of us. And, I was a person there. I didn't see it, but it sounds like something like that might have possibly happened. But definitely going to be a fierce competitor to miss for the rest of the season. Definitely going to be one last person that up here in the booth, at least, we're going to be able to see really put on an exciting race. And, now it's next man up. You're going to have people like TJ Bartel, Casey McMullen Sr., Bernard Person trying to fill that gap and to take advantage of Cooper's misunfortunate and try to slide into his points position.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Bernard Person now in second. Casey McMullen Sr. into third place. He actually missed last week, so he could be doing a little bit better, but we expect big things out of these top three tonight. TJ Bartel been having a great run all season in the series he's running. Of course, he's in the booth for the Dark Matter Designs Cup Series there. Ronnie Royal in fifth. Jason Spears 6th, Wayne Grassy in 7th, Justin Kirby in 8th, Sherwood Williford down in 9th place, and Russell Charnowski rounds out the top 10. Looking across the rest of the board here, you see Benedict down there, Flanagan, there's Lane Allen, Tyler Marble down there. I don't think he's ran a full schedule this season. We talked a little bit about Zach McDaniel. Tim Bill's part of that team there. This guy's also taking some time off this season.
I'll tell you one person that we haven't seen in a couple of races, but it's good to see out here tonight. That's going to be that 11 of Matthew Geringer. He hasn't made every race. He's only actually been in 6 races this season, so it's good to see him back on the racetrack tonight with us.
Yeah, it really is. And Matthew's been one of those guys who's really improved over the last couple of seasons. Now a threat to win these races. And let's get into our starting order right here, right now. as we see Tim Bills in the 77 with a time of 29.347, putting the aforementioned wheeling and dealing racing on the pole tonight. And Randy McCanny starting on the outside of row number 1. I mean, this man had a great first career win in the Cup Series on Monday night. He's looking to back that up with another one. Great starting spot here for the GT Performance SimSport racing team there. Casey McMullen will start in third. Brian Helm will be in fourth. Jared Carr, fresh out of the booth from Havoc SimSports, will be starting in fifth. Jason Martin, now actually part of Steve Berry Racing, no longer an independent. He'll start on the outside of row number 3. On the inside of row number 4 is going to be TJ Bartel, part of EB2 Motorsports. James Torrey with Fury Motorsports will be starting in 8th spot. In 9th is going to be Ronnie Royal from Team Spear, and I think Ronnie being the top Team Spear qualifier tonight, that's a little odd from those guys. Lane Allen will start in 10th spot, part of Blackwater Motorsports.
Rolling off 11th is going to be the aforementioned Matthew Geringer. He's going to be rolling off 11th, representing Havoc Motorsports. Justin Kirby in that Black Magic Motorsports is going to roll off 12th. 13th is we're going to have Zach McDaniels. We spoke about him earlier, kind of a up and down season for him. Then you're going to have Sherwood Williford. Expect to see Sherwood towards the top 5 later in this run. Trevor Hunt's going to roll off in the 59, followed by Donnie Staubach in that 99. Rory Collins, one of our rookies, is going to roll off 18th, followed by the 4 of Bobby Turo. And Wayne Grassi is going to roll out 20th. He's going to be the last car on our top 20. Further back in the field, you're going to have the likes of Jason Martin, Matty Watkins, Brian Bliss. Paul Sargent's going to be rolling off around 24th. David Hensley in the 27th. Darren Snyder. And rounding out our field, the 29th is going to be the 55, Jeff Bratton.
All right, there you have it. Tonight's starting lineup in the Blackwater Products USA Truck Series here at Texas Motor Speedway. Tim Bills, anytime he's got the pole, anytime he's anywhere, he's dangerous. But we'll see what McCanny, McMullen and Helm, our points leader, can do with him. Here we go. As the truck is off the track, the green lights are about to drop.
Green flag,
and Tim Bills leads him down to the start-finish line.
Oh, Jared Carr, very aggressive start. Got right to the back of the 71 of Casey McMullen. Was able to put Casey McMullen to the back of the 77. And the bottom line is definitely going to have a strategic advantage going into 1 and 2. As they're going to both clear Randy McCanny, as McCanny's going to slot in the 3rd position.
Yeah, a little bit tougher there on the high side, getting through 1 and 2. McCanny, though, hanging on. Now McMullen looking underneath the 77. He wants the lead here early, Brad.
Yeah, this is something definitely different from that 71 of McMullen. McMullen, normally the driver is going to rely a little bit more on strategy, kind of wait for the track to come to him and the truck to come to him. But tonight, he's got a fast machine and he wants to put it out front early.
It seems like Tim Bills is sliding back here. Now, is this strategy from him, Brad, or is this just a case that he's hung out and he's a little bit shook up out here?
Yeah, I think this is, we're very early in the run. He's not going to try to overwork his tires, but you see it. That truck is loose, especially on the top side. It could just be a matter of that truck does not want to handle very well on that top side as he continues to get freight trained on the bottom.
Yeah, man, is he ever dropping way back here. And I got to think this has got some kind of strategy. I don't know. You just don't see this from Tim Bills. Now you're looking at Brian Helm working on him on the inside. He's got Ronnie Royal and Jason Martin with him.
Yeah, I just got to think it's that outside line's just not quite ready to be run yet. As the tires wear out, that might be a situation where the guys are going to go to it. I would expect to see the 77 and Tim Bills slot into the bottom as soon as he possibly can, because if he continues to stay to the top side, I think he's just going to get freight trained even longer.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the 77. Now falling back. He is back in 7th place. But our leader, Casey McMullen, now being challenged by Jared Carr as he comes underneath Randy McCanny. He's going to take 2nd place away. Here comes Brian Helm. TJ Bartel in there, looking almost 3 wide there for a second.
Yeah, if you notice, as soon as the driver gets to the inside, that car on the outside pretty much just does not have the grip. So I really got to think it's a matter of handling in the bottom lane as Jared Carr is going to try to make his way to the inside and 71 to Casey McMullen to get the preferred line into 3.
He's going to get there. Put the 7 on the point. He's going to bring Helm with him. They got the 24 Royal right there with him. So these guys all powering through. Helm and Royal, part of Smokey and the Bandit Racing there, and they're working through here. But Jared Carr on the point. A nice run from the 7 so far, Rob.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we've seen this out of Jared Carr several times in different races where he's been able to be very fast off the gun, but his car generally wears out the tires quickly, maybe a little too aggressive early. Will he have enough speed to really contend later on?
Yeah, it's hard to say, but now you see Tim Bills fighting with Casey McMullen. Our pole sitter and our early leader back here fighting for 4th and 5th already. As you see, Randy McCanny, who started 2nd back there as well. So our top 3 guys have all slidden back here, and the shakeup continues at the front as Brian Helm looks underneath the 7 of Jared Carr.
Yeah, this is starting to look a little bit more like an Atlanta race, if you will, you know, where the draft has a very big impact on these drivers. And it's very lane specific where, you know, you do not want to be the leader. You generally want to be that car in 3rd place. You can get all the runs, pick your chink, pick your spots, you know, get to the bottom of somebody and really make your passes. Because that seems to be what we're getting. We're getting a kind of a flurry of passes, and it's all set up based upon the draft.
You see McCanny pull out a line there, and he's coming down. He's bringing TJ Martell with him. They're both getting by McMullen, who can finally filter into line. He's going to drop all the way back to 7th place, Jared, and that's exactly, or Brad, sorry, that's exactly what we've seen out of Tim Bills, who's back up to 4th now.
Yeah, I mean, really, these guys up front are continuing to just kind of swap positions. They go right back nose to tail. It's not till you get back to the 9 of Jason Martin in the 8th position that you're really starting to see that double file line. You know, you got Lane Allen back there, Matthew Garinger, the 42's there, the 58 of Justin Kirby. You know, all of those guys, they're slowly starting to get single file, but until then, you know, they've been double file this entire time. The 58's really putting some pressure right now on the 42.
Man, he really is. Kirby and McDaniel slugging it out here on the track. McDaniel not willing to go too high on that track. He's trying to keep that thing in contention.
Yeah, you can really see just how important that bottom lane is they're going to hug the bottom, and even the 42 is Zach McDaniel. He just gave up the inside for entry. That way he could fall right back down to that yellow or that white line to keep the bottom of the racetrack.
So right now, up front, Brian Helm in the 26. And Brad, he's our points leader. Man, this guy has been really tough all season long.
He really has. You know, he has been the most consistent driver this entire time. And you can really see it in the setup even today. If you sit there and you're watching the 7, Jared Carr, you see him, his truck is already starting to go away. You'll see him going through 1 and 2 this time. If he does it just like he did last time, it really starts pushing about a quarter of the way in the corner, and he's not able to hold it on the bottom. Where you're getting that 26, you see 7 right now, just starting to slide out, and he really loses time to the 24, Ronnie Royal. Well, Ronnie Royal is going to go and take advantage of that, goes to the inside, as Jared Carr's starting to go away early in this run.
Yeah, well, that's something we've seen before from leaders and from Jared Carr, actually, where, you know, you get out there with a hot run and about 10, 15 laps in, you start to fade away. He's sitting in 3rd. Now, we've seen this from everybody so far, so we'll see if Jared Carr, if this is the case, if he's burned up his stuff, or just part of what's happening out here tonight. Guys coming and going like crazy.
Yeah, you're starting to see Tim Bills make his way back up. He's currently challenging Jared Carr for that 3rd position. Jared Carr's going to pinch him down, but really close, a little tire on the 8th. And so as this keeps going, it's going to be interesting to see, because if we've looked at in the past of these last couple of races, you know, somebody like the 33 of Sherwood Williford, he generally starts off a little bit slow, doesn't have that good qualifying run, but towards the end of these long green flag runs, he's generally made his way up into the top 10. So that's going to be a driver that you're going to have to watch as this race goes on.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that's a perfect guy to look in on. And so we see him here in 13th place. You know he hasn't been burning up his stuff at all, and we'll see. We're only 14 laps in. Usually these type of guys really don't start moving forward till about lap 20 here, but already you can see him getting a good run off of 4 there. The 33 looking like he might be ready to come in, but in front of him, we got McDaniel and McMullen and Kirby slugging it out here.
Yeah, it seems like the 42, McDaniel and Kirby, they've been kind of locked together for the last 5 or 6 laps. Casey McMullen, once he lost that lead, I think he was a little bit more, kind of became more Casey McMullen, if you will. I said, okay, I'm going to slide back a little bit. I'll give up a little bit of speed. I'll take care of my equipment. I'm going to play the long run, which is what he does to a T all the time. Just behind him, you're going to have Lane Allen, and then right behind that, you're going to have the 11 of Matthew Ganger. And that 33 is Sherwood Williford starting to make his move on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, he's already starting to come forward. And that'll be for 12th spot. He's got the 59 and Trevor Hunt right there with him. And the 11 trying to close that door, but it's still open. Looks like Hunt's going to come on through.
You got the 14 of Lane Allen working to the inside of Casey McMullen. He looks like he's going to be able to make that pass, but right in front of that, you got a couple of double wide fights, and you're going to have Zach McDaniels again and Justin Kirby. Randy McCanny's there. Jared Carr's there. These guys are really starting to get a little bit of racy once some of these guys are, they're starting to fall off from that early speed that they had in this run.
Yeah, you can see that drastically as Carr already down to 6th place. Kirby and McDaniel now starting to move forward. Got McMullen, our early race leader, back there in 10th. Now you say he was cagey, he might be saving, but from experience I can tell you, if you burn him up in the first few laps, you almost cannot recover from that.
Absolutely. Looks like you got the 9 of Jason Martin. He's actually doing fairly well. Started in the 6th. He's currently in 5th position. But he's another one of those drivers that he's slowly starting to make his way. It looks like he's got a good, consistent truck the entire time. He's going to move up into that 4th position. He's going to set his sights in front of him on Tim Bills in that 77 as he continues to stalk Ronnie Royal and Brian Helm.
Yeah, and I'm really liking what I see out of the 9 truck there. The line he's running through 2, staying a little bit lower. That's where I like to be here. Let's get on board and see if we can get a look at what he's doing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jared Carr just had a huge moment off the exit of 2 there. Was completely sideways on exit. Did a really good job of collecting it back up.
Well, we're good to hear that he's all right there, but that car is starting to go away. Right now, we're on board with Jason Martin here, and you can see not so good that time. A little bit of a more normal, traditional line. We'll watch him again through 3 and 4 and back through 1 and 2 and see if he can get back to the bottom. Here, running a little bit high. Oh, and he's got a car underneath him, and that's why he's up there. So that's TJ Bartell poking his way through.
Yeah, and TJ, unfortunately, just a lap before he was able to get by. Now you're going to have the 58 of Kirby making his way to the bottom of Jason Martin. Right behind him, you're going to have the 42 of Zach McDaniel. Kirby and McDaniel have not been shy with each other. You've seen a lot of blocking on these straightaways from Kirby on McDaniel, so it's going to be very interesting once we put a third car. Oh, some contact there between the 58 and the 9.
Wow, he just ran in hard. He's thinking about the 42. He ran right into the 9 of Jason Martin. Martin going to have to regroup from that, falling back to 7th place here. But McDaniel clearing Kirby, and watch out for Zach McDaniel if he gets this thing hooked up.
Yeah, McDaniel was stuck behind Kirby for quite a few laps. Kirby was doing everything he could, a little blocking on the backstretch for one not to keep him there. 42's now made his way by, and I expect him to kind of just set sail and be able to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, the 42 looking real good out here. We check back in around McMullen and Gerringer behind them. You got Bobby Terrell battling down here. He's got Donnie Staubitz. He's got Trevor Hunt is in the mix there. Matty Watkins starting to make a move as well. So Matty Watkins, one of our newest comers out here, Brad, and he's up 7 spots into 15th now.
He's doing a very good job, just kind of minding his own business, trying to stay out of a little bit of trouble, and that's going to be the best thing you can do right now. Sit there and you got that 71 of McMullen right there in front of him. That's the guy that he wants to follow. If there's somebody who can kind of teach him his way around, you've got 71 right in front of them. Right in front of him, you're also going to have Bobby Terrell. 2 of the best veterans in this field right now. Those are the guys you want to learn from.
Yeah, the 42 looking real good out here. We check back in around McMullen and Gerringer behind them. You got Bobby Terrell battling down here. He's got Trevor Hunt is in the mix there. Matty Watkins starting to make a move as well. So Matty Watkins, one of our newest comers out here, Brad, and he's up 7 spots into 15th now. It is, and you say that to the best veterans. Here comes Matty Watkins now looking for that spot, and they're getting beat up here. They're back in 14th and 15th is McMullen and Terrell, and Watkins going to take those spots away here as he gets one from McMullen. But these guys struggling a little bit tonight.
Yeah, they really are. And, something looking at this now, we got a 134 lap race. So some of these guys, I don't know the exact fuel mileage, but you got to think that somebody like a Casey McMullen, somebody, especially like the four, Bob Trill, somebody who doesn't normally miss the setups. This could be one of those nights that they just missed on the setup completely, or they could be playing for the really long run, thinking that this thing could go green, and they need to make it to a specific lap to be able to go on, possibly a two-stopper.
Yeah, they might be doing just that. We'll be looking for them to get somewhere around 60 laps here. So it's going to be a long run for these guys, and we're not even halfway through it. Or, at best, we're halfway through it.
We're starting to see a little bit of a convergence here around the eighth place position. You're going to have the 7 of Jared Carr. Then you got the 9 of Martin. And then the 33 of Sherwood Williford. Sherwood starting to make his way, he's finally breaking into that top 10, currently looking for the 9th position on Martin. And I would have to think as soon as he's able to get clear of Martin, the 7 is going to be right there, right in his clutchings, if you will.
Yeah, Martin not willing to give up that spot quite yet. He's looking good, but Sherwood Williford is up 5 spots. We know he's got a long run truck, or he's a long run driver, I should say. I don't know about his truck. But right now, both him and Martin won't buy that 7 pretty bad.
Yeah, I think you got right now, I think the 7's really kind of holding us up because you got Sherwood coming up, you got the 14 of Lane Allen coming in, Matthew Ganger's coming, Bobby Terrell, and that 999 of Matty Watkins. It's really allowed all of those trucks to really gain an advantage and close the gaps.
It has, and Martin has got to get down behind that 33, or he's going to lose another spot to Lane Allen, who's coming up there now. Here comes Lane Allen to the inside.
I'll tell you what, we need to get back up front to our leaders. We got the 47 of TJ Bartell making a run on the inside of Brian Helm, and right behind him, you're going to have that 42 of Zach McDaniel. Both of those guys, TJ Bartell and McDaniel, started a little bit further back in the field and took care of their equipment a little bit better as the 47 is going to go to the lead.
47, man, has he been good this year. Him and McDaniel up 11 spots on the night now for McDaniel. These guys are really rolling. And the top 4 here, you can throw them under a blanket still.
Yeah, you really can. This is some great racing with these guys in very close quarters. So, a lot of give and take between these leaders. There's been a lot of moves that, they're coming right there on the nose. They're kind of giving each other a little bit of the room. And it's really good to see this. This is back to vintage FTSR racing. Long green flag runs, a lot of respectable racing, and it's really good to see.
It really is. And you can see here, so you got their top 4. If we go back, you got 3 more cars with Tim Bills, McCanny, and Kirby. And then you go back behind that, and you got to go way back to Carr. Carr is still fending off the 33 of Sherwood Williford.
Yeah, I got to think that's short term, though. The 33 is still just going to take care of his equipment. Jared Carr is definitely putting up a great battle, but you know what? That 999 of Matty Watkins, that's something impressive. He started 22nd on the field. He's currently 11th. He's made up 11 spots in the field, and he's continuing to make his way forward as he's going to look under the 14 of Lane Allen for another position.
Yeah, unfortunately, we move back up front here because we've seen Zach McDaniel retaking the lead here, or taking the lead, I should say. Somewhere he used to be very confident and always have the lead. He's gotten by the 47, now our new race leader, part of that wheeling and dealing race, and it looks like TJ hanging with him, though.
Yeah, that's got to be bad news for the rest of the field. We've all seen what Zach McDaniel can do once he gets in front of this field. The only question is draft is really going to pay a big dividend there. We'll have to see if the 42 is able to get away from anybody, or if it's just a matter of, everybody's able to really stay right there with them, because that'll make the biggest difference. Pit stops has been kind of a weak point of the 42, so it's going to be very interesting, especially as we come closer to pit stops.
Yeah, you bring up a great point there with the 42. We've seen that last season where, it cost him a couple of races there where he had sped on pit road or just odd little mistakes along pit road. So we'll see how this plays out as this race goes along. Right now on lap 34 of 134 in the Texas 200. And Zach McDaniel leads TJ Bartel with point leader Brian Helm closely in third.
My question is, as we start in, we're on lap 35 here, we're going to have to start looking at our pit strategy. We're going to have to look at our fuel number. Ultimately, you're going to want to break this race up into thirds. So we're looking at probably about, 45 laps per fuel run?
Yeah, exactly, Brett.
So with everybody running this close together, if you're somebody like the 26 of Brian Helm, if you're TJ Bartel, do you try to short pit it? Do you try to go a little bit longer? I don't think going longer is really going to help you, because I think we're kind of all in agreement that they're going to have to make at least 2 stops. It's just a question for me, at least, is whether or not you want to short pit it, and if you do, how early are you prepared to do that?
Yeah, it's a tough question out here. How hard is it to pass? Do you want fresher rubber? Do you want track position? Always difficult calls as TJ Bartel looks to retake the lead here up front.
That just seems like you do not want to be that leader. You just kind of set yourself up, and the only thing you can do is you just got to let them go once they get that preferred line on the bottom. The top lane just hasn't come in quite yet. As you see, 26 of Brian Helm's also going to go to the bottom of the 42. 42 is going to hopefully cycle back into third here.
Yeah, these guys are shuffling the lead like crazy. Put the 47 of TJ Bartel back on the point. Someone to watch, though, we was looking at there for a minute, is that 2, Randy McCanny. He's caught up to this 4-truck battle. It's a 5-truck battle now. He might have the best long-run truck of them all.
Absolutely. It's going to make a very interesting race. I'm glad to see we got 5 very highly competitive trucks right up front here battling for the lead. It's going to put a premium on that pit stops, and you're going to have to really get on and off. We've seen in the past where some guys, even last week, we had guys running and they gained 3 to 4 seconds just getting on and off pit road cleanly and very efficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really noticing how much it pays off to be able to get on and off pit road. Not just the pit stop, but the entry, the whole lap. And we're seeing big dividends from certain people in the field. We look back to Tim Bills and Kirby here. And Matty Watkins, now you were talking about Matty Watkins in the 999. He's up 14 spots on the night. Looking really racy, looking really good out here, Brad.
Yeah, I think he's probably kind of hit the limit of his tires, if you will. Coming from 22nd, he had to put quite a bit on as I hear the 58 of Justin Kirby's looking to pit this lap. So pit stops happening earlier than I would expect. At lap 40, you're going to have the 58 of Kirby coming to pit road here.
And is he going to make it? That's a hard-looking pit stop. He's locking him up. That might be a perfect pit stop. Well done by the 58.
It sounds like we got Darren Snyder. We're going to have multiple takers coming to pit road here, so it's going to be, you got to sit here and think pit road is open, and these guys are planning on go ahead and short pitting.
Yeah, there's definitely a short pit out of the 58 there. We'll see if anybody else. Yeah, Kirby and Schneider are currently in the pits. Nobody else willing to do it quite yet. I really don't expect them for a few more laps at least. But who knows? I mean, track position is big. And I've always said it, Brad, if you're not in, say, this top 5 group here, why not? You got to try something different. You get out here, get some track position. After these guys pit, you're going to have the race lead. Maybe a caution comes out. Who knows?
Yeah, that's one of those challenges, though. If this is a tricky pit road, what you got to, you want to be able to get the maximum amount of effort that you can out of that tire. But, if you even have the inkling that, somebody could have issues coming to pit road, this is one of those pit lanes that they could definitely do that and end up in that grass, and a caution could come out.
Yeah, absolutely correct. We look in at Randy McCanny one more time. He's still battling with Ronnie Royal here. Just nowhere to go. He can't get a big enough run to get around him. He might have a big run here. Not willing to take it quite yet. I think at this point he's probably content where he is, Brad, and he's just waiting for pit stops.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I'm kind of looking at the 58 of Justin Kirby right now. His last lap was a 29.62 versus our leaders that was a 30.80. So not even a full second difference in 40 lap old tires. So I got to sit here and think that you're going to hang on to it as long as you can. As we got takers like the 42 of Zach McDaniels, the 83, the 24 coming to pit road. So pit road is definitely open for business right now on lap 44.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's no doubt about that.
TJ Bartel staying out. Brian Helm continues to circle on this racetrack. Randy McCanny's still going to stay out.
We'll see if McCanny can close in here. Maybe look at our lap history and just see if he's making any progress.
Well, the thing with McCanny is he's still there, but he just doesn't have the draft help now. Because these guys are getting, kind of separated out, and that's one of the things where you do honestly have to watch out for that. It's a 1.5 mile racetrack. You wouldn't think it would be a big draft factor, but we've seen that it really has happened all night tonight.
Yeah, there's seemingly a big draft out here. Right now, the last couple laps, he's 4/10 and 3/10 off. We'll wait and see how this lap goes. And he's another almost half seconds off of TJ Bartel. That's hard to believe here, as you would have thought here we go. So he came in only about almost 2/10 slower. It's not quite as much, but McCanny, I thought, was the fastest guy. Clearly, without that draft, he's not showing it.
Absolutely. As the 47 continues to circle this racetrack on the green flag, looks like he's going to come to pit road this lap.
Yeah, he's come in a nice clean stop there. No, not too much aggression.
Well, McCanny is right behind him, and he gained quite a bit of track on that stop. He was quite a bit further back than what they were at the cone.
And that's what we were talking about. A lot can be done here on pit road. Let's just look at
the
that.
999 of Matty Watkins will be pitting this time, but I do want to give him a shout out. He was able to lead that lap. So one of our rookies being able to lead a lap here, and that's something that's very impressive, especially with this group of drivers.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a great job by Matty to get out there, lead one lap. We look into these pit lap times. There's some good times out here. 43s across the board. You have Jason Martin with a 42.7. I think that's about best on the track. Him and Hensley so far are looking like about the best and making up quite a bit of time there coming into pit road. Right now, guess who your race leader is? Brad, Mr. 33, Mr. Top 10, Sherwood Williford, as he comes down to pit road.
As a 35 comes in very hot right behind him as well, just closing up a little bit of gap there as well. So various strategies definitely on this, and I think when it's all shook out, I think we're actually going to have a new leader, and I think our leader is going to be that 26 of Brian Helm. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I've been mistaken on that one. I think it's actually going to end up being possibly the 58 of Justin Kirby.
Yeah, it looks like Kirby and McDaniel will come out on top here. But we still got takers, and we got guys on all kinds of different tires here as we see Carr and Gerwinger come in. That's going to pass it over to Kirby here in the 58. What a job he did. He had a stop of 43.7 from line to line, and he's made it work. He's got quite a gap on the track, so I don't know how.
Remember, Kirby came in about 4 laps earlier, so he's got about 4 laps fresher tires than McDaniels and all them did. So he'll have a little bit. The question is will he be able to maintain that over the run?
Yeah, we've got some big differences. Kirby on lap 40, McDaniel and Royal on 44, Helm on 46, Bartel and McCanny 47. You got guys just coming in now. They're on lap 50. So lots of differences out here.
Yeah, what's really helping Kirby right now is he is just off the back of the 55 and whatnot. So he's getting a decent pull down these straightaways to where he does have a little bit of a draft help. So he's not all by himself where McDaniels is in the fight for his life right now with the 26 of Brian Helm. Those two continue to battle lap after lap.
Yeah, McDaniel battling here with Ronnie Royal. Behind them is Brian Helm.
Actually, something happened with Helm because he was right there with these two, and he's falling back about another 2 seconds. So definitely a miscue. Maybe got a little bit loose.
Let's just see if we can get a replay maybe of Ronnie Royal here. And no, that is not going to have it. Not sure exactly what happened there. But we'll go back to live here. Ronnie Royal battling for second with Zach McDaniel all over his bumper here. Justin Kirby, your race leader.
Yeah, so going into pit stops, we had we had Royal, McDaniel, Helm, and Bartel and McCanny all within a blanket. Coming out of pit stops, now all of a sudden our leader is going to be Justin Kirby. He's going to have about a second lead over Ronnie Royal and McDaniel. Those two kind of stayed caution, if you will. Helm is about another second and a half back. TJ Bartel another 2 seconds back, with McCanny right there with him. So, this really puts a prime real estate on just how clean you need to be on pit stops, because, you could go to running nose to tail with the leaders to 4 seconds back right now, like Randy McCanny.
And McCanny, who came in with Bartel, you talked about how much time he made up on entry there. Here he is, nose to tail with Bartel. Before the pit stop, it was about 20, 30 truck lengths between them.
Absolutely. He had a great pit stop, but on the racetrack, you still got to be able to get it done. And we're seeing a pass for the lead right now as Ronnie Royal is going to work to the inside of that 58. Those 4-lap fresher tires, just doing the world for the 24 Ronnie Royal. But right behind him still, Zach McDaniel continuing to put the pressure on him.
Yeah, Zach McDaniel looking really strong here. Not to take anything away from Ronnie Royal. Ronnie's been doing great all night, but he's got his hands full. Kirby there, that early pit stop, not paying off so far, as is a long run to go here, and it's only going to get a little bit worse for him as this goes along.
Now, I'll tell you what, though, if you're that 24, you just keep it on that white line and you don't give up the bottom. I say that he pushes wide on the exit there. He's going to give the bottom to Zach McDaniel. McDaniel's going to fall back in line, but I haven't been able to see anybody go by on the outside yet. So I have to sit here and think that preferred line is that bottom. So, you just run your race, you turn your laps, and you make sure you hit your marks. And, I think it's going to be very difficult for any truck to get by on the outside.
Yeah, it's really looking that way, Brad. We'll see as a dynamic track comes in as the race goes on. Right now, the 42 way down low, up high. Ronnie Royal be starting to really push up the track here. This could be problematic if this continues.
Yeah, I really can. Speaking of that dynamic track, it's currently 69-degree air temp, so we've dropped about a degree. But it's a 83 track temp, so I believe that's a 2-degree increase in the track.
I think when we first called it during qualifying, it was at 88, so we get a little cooler.
Okay. All right, so yeah, definitely 5 degrees cooler, so that's definitely going to help these guys out, especially with their tire wear. But we do see a lot of sun on the racetrack now in certain parts of the racetrack, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how that affects as this run goes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fluctuation, not only with the temperature, but within these. You brought up the sun. The sun comes out on the track, it gets a little more slick. Sometimes it creates more grip. You really have to just play it by feel, right? But you have to be able to adjust to that lap by lap, corner by corner.
As we see the 42, and Zach McDaniel's adjusting to the bottom of the inside. He's going to try to get a look in on Ronnie Royal. Doesn't quite have the speed down the straightaway. Wasn't able to kind of get even, and that's really his big problem now. He's just not able to get off the corner of 1 and 2. It seems like he runs a lot better in 3 and 4 than Ronnie Royal, but 1 and 2, he just doesn't get the exit right.
Yeah, it's tough. He's in that dirty air. Truck wants to push up the track a bit instead of holding where he wants it. But don't look now. Right behind them, Brian Helm is closing in a hurry as Zach McDaniel makes a move to the lead.
Yeah, that could be the difference. Zach McDaniel, as he gets a little bit on the apron, upsets the truck, is going to give the 24 a little bit of a run still on the outside to be able to try to fend him off. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, especially on the top side in 1 and 2. But Brian Helm is there. I think he's going to be able to fill that gap. And, the 24 might have went into turn 1. The leader, he's going to come out possibly in 3rd.
Yeah, that little bobble by the 42 down low, that really brought Brian Helm back into this thing, and he's looking like he might be the fastest of these guys. 24 is going to have all he can handle now.
Yeah, what can you really say about these wheeling and dealing race trucks? They are a constant on these mile and a half, especially later in the runs. The 42 Zach McDaniels started 13th position, currently back up into the first place. But then you're going to have the 26 of Brian Helm working his way to the inside of Ryan Royal. He's showing exactly why he is the points leader in this series.
Yeah, he is. He thought this race out. We'll take a look in on his pit lap here. And you can see Helm on 46, these other two on 44. Only 2 lap difference, but it does help, Brad. Let's go back on board with the 26 and watch him try and get a run here and get down to the inside. McDaniel, you can see a little hair of damage there on that left quarter panel. You see the left rear end is sticking up ever slightly.
Yeah, you're not seeing a whole lot of movement in the corners here out of this 26. That's indicative of very good handling of the truck. You're not really seeing him fighting and not going back to the right. He's able to keep it right there on that that white line, get a real good run off. He didn't really gain anything, but the biggest thing for him, I think, is that he's not losing anything. He just wants to be there, competitive. I mean, really, for this championship, he's racing that 24 behind him, the 71. I mean, he's got a very good points lead, and what he doesn't want to do is throw it away with some type of an incident.
Yeah, that's correct. But I mean, you can see him through 3 and 4. He just looks like he's a lot better this time. Right to the bottom in 1 and 2. Just he's getting a bit of a run here, but that 42, man, is he working that truck ahead of him? He was fighting it there, trying to stay ahead of the 26.
Yeah, you're seeing the 26 really back up a little bit earlier, especially in 1 and 2. The 42 is able to kind of drive it in a little deeper. And what you're really seeing is the 26 able to get through the center of the corner and kind of close a little bit on exit. And because he's doing that, he's able to kind of run that lower line, so he's not really pushing out to the wall, where you're seeing the 42 do exactly that and kind of lose a little bit.
Let's check in on Matty Watkins here as in the 999. Now he's all alone on the track, but he's got the fresher tires out of everybody in front of him, Brad. I think he's really pulling off a really good race here.
Yeah, I mean, it's your rookie season, if you will. You've put in a couple of races with us. That doesn't mean you're not a good driver or anything like that by any stretch of the imagination. He's definitely putting in a great run. His problem is just like you said, he's alone on the racetrack. He has nobody right there with him, no drafting help. And that does make a big difference, especially on a track like this. He's going to pull up next to guys that are slower than them. In this league, they're just going to pull over, let you go by. And sometimes that's what you don't want, believe it or not. You just want somebody to be able to run the same speed as you to turn those faster laps.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Right now, the 26 still stalking the 42, but Zach McDaniel doesn't look like he can be beat here right now anyway, as the 26 is going to have to settle in and wait for a more appropriate time. See Bobby Terrell back in 8th spot here. He's made up 11 spots, and I don't know if he made some adjustments or what, but he looks like a much better truck now than he had early in the race, Brad.
Yeah, Bobby's a very consistent driver, and I'm not at all surprised to see this. He's able to make adjustments on the fly. He's definitely one of those drivers that are going to be able to get on and off pit road very smoothly and very consistently. So, hats off to the 4. Not exactly a surprise, to see that truck in the top 10.
Yeah. Oh, and we're watching Jason Martin get really loose. He's got Brian Bliss right behind him. Jason Martin controlling that thing somehow, some way. He saved it. Wow.
Yeah, that was a big moment there, especially for the 18 right behind him. Thankfully, he had enough common sense in him, if you will, to kind of let the 9 get out of it and back out. And we're going to see down this backstretch where doing that really hurt him, as you're going to get the I don't know what truck that is, just really power by him.
That Looks like the Sergeant in the 19. Now he is going to be, it's going to be Paul Sargent. I think he'd be a lap down at this point.
Yeah, it's just those numbers are just very hard to see. I'm sorry, guys.
It is tough to see for sure. Right now, we got the 42 still leading. Brian Helm in second. You got Ronnie Royal in third. TJ Bartel now making his way back up here towards the front. He's in fourth. Randy McCaney coming with him, and he's in fifth. So these guys, fourth and fifth, are on the move. Justin Kirby in sixth. He's fading a bit. Here comes Matty Watkins. He's in seventh, up 15 spots. Bobby Terrell back in 8th place, showing up 11 spots on the night. Then it's Jason Martin, followed by Jason Spear. You got Bills, Hunt, Elder, Gerringer's right in here. Sherwood Williford back in 15th now. Wow. Jared Carr, 16th. Staubitz in 17th. You got Allen back in 18th. McMullen in 19th. Wow, after leading the first couple laps, that truck has really fallen off. Grassy in 20th, having a rough night as well. Torrey. You got Mark Royce out here. Hensley. Bratton. Loomis. And Brian Bliss and Paul Sargent. We might as well finish him off here. We got Rory Collins out here at the back of the field, and Darren Schneider at the back of the field. So tough night for a couple of these guys. Up front though, Brian Helm has made his way by our leader, and we're going to get a look in on that replay. You see here the 42 lead, and he starts to push up the track a little bit. 26 of Brian Helm through the tri-oval there, makes the move. He's going to take down the inside. Looks like the 42 with that bad corner just kind of gave up the lead there. He'll allow the 26. Maybe he wants to get behind him, Brad, and tighten that truck up a little bit.
Yeah, it could be possible. I mean, also the other thing we've got to think about here is we're getting ready to complete lap 77 now. Going off our last pit stops, the 58 of Justin Kirby pitted on lap 40, so we are right there where some drivers may start doing a little bit of a pit road strategy. And if you're the 42 and you want to short pit a little bit, you don't want the 26 all over the back of your tailgate.
No, you don't really want that, but I mean, this is ideal. If you've got a loose truck, you just do this. You get right in there on them. Not only does it hurt the guy in front of you, make him even looser, but it tightens you up a little bit, get a little more comfortable with your truck. And, you know, the fuel mileage here, I don't know what the fuel mileage exactly was, Brad, but I don't think they can do the amount of laps I thought they could here. We've seen someone stretch it to 50, but I don't know if that was for tires or for gas or what the situation was there.
Well, I have to think if we could stretch it to 50, we're definitely within our pit window. You know, they'll be able to go to lap 100, and they'll definitely be able to get to lap 134. So as long as we made it to lap 45, which 90% of the competitors did, I think we'll be okay.
Absolutely. Right now, Helm, McDaniel, they're followed by Bartel, and I think Bartel is closing as we look in on the lap history here between McDaniel and Bartel. And you can see small gains by Bartel, followed by one big gain by McDaniel. So kind of balancing out there. I think they both have to have some clean track to really figure out who's fastest.
Yeah, and you know what? McCaney's closed in on the back of Royal as well. So he's going to be a third truck for this battle here as he's closed up right on the back of the 24 Ronnie Royal. So Randy McCaney surging late in this run, making some very good lap times and be able to close up the gap to make him a factor in this.
Yeah, and it looks like he's losing his patience here with the 24, and he wants by him. He wants by him right now.
Well, you gotta, if you're a much better truck, especially late in the run, the last thing you want to do is get held up during the time that you're fastest on the racetrack. He's definitely got a very fast race truck, especially late in this run, to be able to close up the distance that he had lost during the pit stop. But the problem with it is we're right here at pit stops again. You know, if he can't shore up that pit stop, he's just going to lose that time again.
Yeah, you see him, he get up there to the 24, and you know, if he can't make the pass, he loses some time. This time the 24 going to move over and let him go. Class move by the 24. Not sure he had to do that, but nice move there for sure. And Randy McCaney's really going to appreciate that as he moves up to 4th and now can go set sail and try and chase down TJ Bartel and our leaders.
Yeah, I think that's something that 24 just needed to do. You know, don't force the issue. You're a couple of laps away from green flag pit stops. You'll get 4 fresh tires. If you think you're faster than them, you'll definitely make it up on the backside. And we've already seen that, you know, they go in on the same lap. The 24 is going to come out ahead, especially at the end of pit road.
We got another battle. Matty Watkins coming underneath the 58 of Justin Kirby through the tri-oval here. He's going to have position heading down into corner number 1. You're going to make that pass look incredibly easy, Brad, as the 999 here continues to march on, now showing up 16 spots on the evening.
Yeah, he's having a great night. You know, he was able to get by Justin Kirby. Justin Kirby's got the oldest tires out of everybody on this track. We know he last pitted on lap 40, so you know he's really looking for that pit stop coming up real soon. I think he'll probably be the first truck on this field to pit. Right behind him, picking up Bobby Trail, kind of in no man's land, all by himself. 4 seconds to the closest car, which is Kirby in front of him, and another 6 behind him till you get to the 83 of Jason Spear.
Yeah, some big gaps playing out here as we look back up front. Helm and McDaniel continuing to do battle here as Helm cannot get away from Zach McDaniel. A little better corner there, going to give him a slight gap as we cross the line. Let's just hop on board with McDaniel here, Brad. Maybe he can walk us through here what he's dealing with this truck here.
As you see, he's going into 3 and 4. He's going to back off slightly. He wants to make sure he's going to stay to the bottom, especially with the 5 of Wayne Grassley. So he's going to probably let out just slightly to make sure he maintains grip on the bottom. He's going to try to close on the 26, but I expect him to let out just a little bit earlier. He's going to not necessarily pinch it down because we're too far in. You see he's going to get very good corner speed, but then the truck starts to push. He's not able to get back to the throttle like he wants to. Pushes all the way out to that wall, and he's going to be very careful. The last thing he wants to do is touch that wall. He's going to do the same thing, work his way to the bottom. But again, you hear it. You know, that car just not want to stay there. He's just starting to fight a little bit of a push. And at the end of this run, really, we're 86 laps in. It's been about 40 laps since his last pit stop. He's ready for tires. I expect to see him in about 3 or 4 laps, but he is definitely better in 1 and 2 than Brian Helm, but Brian Helm's definitely got him beaten 3 and 4.
Yeah, what I'm seeing here, which is a little surprising, is a little bit of a lack of consistency. Now, that could be track, that could be conditions, that could be tire wear, could be dirty air, I'm not sure. But usually the 42, extremely smooth and consistent. So having a little trouble here behind the 26, finding the best line for that truck.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm not sure if he's really trying to make a run on him or if he's content with just trying to pressure him and stay right there with him on the back. I would almost be more inclined to just stay right there on the back of him, especially knowing that you got pit stops coming up. You know, you're in the catbird seat. You know, the 26 has to be aware of you behind him to be able to get into basically off the racetrack to get onto the pit stalls. You know, where you can just pressure him as much as you want and possibly force him into making that mistake and getting into pit road too hot and getting a penalty.
Yeah, I'm just looking in at TJ Bartel, Brad, and is it maybe the case that McDaniel's looking back to TJ thinking this might be the best truck on the track? We don't want to give him any help here. Let's stay nose to tail, work the draft, and try to stay away from him.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be, but I mean, with pit stops being right there, as the 42 is going to peel off right now and come to pit road.
Wow, and he's coming in hot, man, locking him up there, or maybe not locking him up. That looked like a heck of a pit stop from the 42. So we look in on pit lap there. That's going to be pit on 89. That's going to leave that 45 laps for him. He's right on schedule. You got Ronnie Royals in as well.
Yeah, I got to say here and think anybody can make it through here is Brian Helm's going to stay on the racetrack. He's going to complete another lap. We saw what that did earlier for somebody like the 58 there, he was able to come in a couple of laps earlier, and he made about 3 and 4 seconds up on our leaders.
He did, but he also lost it during the run, so you need a little bit of luck maybe with a caution. Right now we watch Randy McCaney come in behind TJ Bartel. Brian Helm continues to ride around the track here, and here he comes heading down pit road.
Yeah, I just don't think you could let somebody like Zach McDaniels out there with fresh rubber. I mean, I'm sorry, the 58, Justin Kirby, he wasn't the dominant truck, but if you're sitting there nose to tail with the second dominant truck on this racetrack, you can't give him multiple laps fresher tires because I just don't think the fall off is going to be there, not nearly as much. As it turns out, we're going to have, let's see, it's going to turn over to Trevor Hunt in the 59.
Yeah, Trevor Hunt gonna lead a lap out here. Great job by the 59. As up on the board, we got our pit lane times up, and you'll see them somewhere around in the 40s here. You look in on Zach McDaniel with a 43.4. That's a decent time, but TJ Bartel pulled off a 42.9, and someone there had a 41, I believe. It looks like that may have changed as I was looking at it, but 42 from TJ Bartel, 42.9, that's a heck of a time as Hunt gives up the lead. Jared Carr, now your new race leader, him and Casey McMullen remain on the track along with Wayne Grassi.
Yeah, it looks like so far the fastest person on the racetrack, if you will, on the pit road was actually Tim Bills with the 42.50, and then the next closest is going to be Randy McCaney with the 42.80. So great pit stops for both of them. TJ Bartel with 42.90.
Just looking for Bills here. Yeah, with a 42.5. It's going to put him in 15th spot right now. And he's moving up the board. Not his best night for the 77. We've seen him dominate in the past, Brad.
Yeah, definitely not the best. It looked early like he had a truck that was going to be, very capable for the win, qualified on the pole, definitely a fast truck, but, it just seemed like the truck didn't have the long run speed, unfortunately, and, next thing you know, he's coming to the back, but, up front, right now, we're going to have Jared Carr playing the long run, and right behind him, we're going to have Casey McMullen, two of our drivers that early in this race were dominating, the first 10, 15 laps. Casey McMullen, challenged for the lead on lap 1, so good to see these guys back up, but they definitely still have to come to pit road. They're just playing a little bit of strategy right now to see if they can salvage a good night, hoping for a caution.
Yeah, definitely. But one thing I wanted to mention here was the 42. So if you look at the 42's pit time, a 43.4, and you have Helm at a 43.8. Now that's just line to line. The entrance, the whole lap before that, I watched the 42. He got to that line so much better than Brian Helm. And on the track, now he's picked up, I don't know, 100 yards of track position on the 26. They were nose to tail that whole run.
Yeah, absolutely. And just coming in a lap, 2 laps quicker, you've got to figure that Zach McDaniel was able to have a lap at a minimum 1 second faster, and he's currently 2 seconds faster on the racetrack than Brian Helm. So, definitely calling to come to pit road just a little bit earlier right now, at least. Seems to pay dividends for the 42 Zach McDaniel. Will that hold? We're just going to have to wait and find out.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. I didn't realize there was a 2-lap difference there. As you can see, Helm about 4/10 faster here on the track. He's going to run down that 42 in no time at all. This is now Brian Helm's race. Right behind him, you got TJ Bartel, though. He might be the man to beat as well. And Ronnie Royal still in the thick of this thing, right on the bumper of TJ Bartel. So we still got heavy battles. Randy McCaney right there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I expect this to be probably a 5-car battle by the end of this. And, if a caution breaks out, you might as well just throw everything up into the air. You really don't have any idea who's going to be dominant because, on the same strategy, we've already seen it in previous runs where you can have 5 cars nose to tail and not be able to get away from each other. And that's certainly, what this is going towards.
See Zach McDaniel come around Casey McMullen. That's going to put Casey McMullen on pit road. Zach McDaniel now in second. Jared Carr continues to lead. He is desperate for a caution, though.
And one person that's not looking for a caution is that 26 of Brian Helm. He's slowly reeling in the 42 of Zach McDaniels. That will be for the race lead. once we get the 7 and Jared Carter come to pit road, bearing no caution. Right behind them, we're going to have TJ Bartel. He's starting to close in. Ronnie Royals closing in on the back of him. We got Randy McCanny. It's not until you get to that 6th position that we have a good gap to the 58 of Justin Kirby, about 2.5 seconds further back, currently in 7th. As the 26 is there. He's on the back of that 42's bumper.
He is, and the 47 behind them has got to be hoping he holds them up for a few laps here, because he's coming. Right now, the 42 doing a great job of sticking to the lead here, holding up that 26 as TJ Bartel continues to make up time behind him. Ronnie Royal right there with him, Randy McCanny as well. These guys all coming.
Yeah, you see the blocking starting to pick up down this backstretch too. You know, the 42 staying to the inside, not letting the 26 get any type of a lane on him or get anything underneath him. And that's one thing that we haven't seen all night. We haven't seen the aggression that we've seen so far this season. But with this, you know, somewhat becoming a one-lane racetrack, it looks like tonight, would you see a little bit of a bump? Will you see a little bit more aggressive blocking that, you know, might not work out in the end? So it's going to be very interesting to see risk versus reward. If you're somebody like Brian Helm, you know, you got Ronnie Royal right there with you, got TJ Bartel, but you got to be thinking big picture points. Will you risk it?
You really do. If you're Brian Helm, you got to think big picture. But I got to tell you, that block that was thrown, that's going to raise up that meter a bit. He's not going to like that one bit.
No, I mean, if you're Zach McDaniel, though, you got nothing to lose.
You got nothing to lose. And I mean, this, again, is only helping TJ as he tries to think about another block. But this time, no, the 26 is there. He cannot block him. That's going to put Brian Helm on the point again. Our points leader now in the lead. TJ Bartel got his work cut out for him behind. I don't think Zach McDaniel on those older tires can hang in for very long here.
I almost think that Zach McDaniels is in a better spot following him. I mean, you haven't really been able to see a leader out front just stay out front. You've seen the runs come from behind every time, and I think a lot of that has to do with the draft package currently on this 1.5-mile racetrack. So if you're Zach McDaniels, you know, you can kind of cool it out a little bit and gain that position back via the draft. As you see him able to close right in on the back of him, what you don't want to do is sit there and really get into a battle to where you two are trading spots and you bring the 47 right up too.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much at this point. A little bit of side-by-side action, and that bring the 47 right in. Right now, these two trucks out front a little bit faster than third place, so they've got to keep this up. But Brian Helm starting to edge out ever so slightly on the 42.
Yeah, we look a little bit further back in the field, you know, and currently in our 6th position, we're going to have Justin Kirby, Matty Weeks in that 999, you know, having an excellent run, especially for the rookie. Bobby Terrell in the 4, going to be currently in 8th. Jason Spear 9th, and you know what? It's about time to cash in your chips, and what do you see? Sherwood Williford right there around that 10th position. Tim Bill's just getting the better of him right there, but currently battling for that 10th position.
Yeah, he's always there in that top 10 at the end of the race. Sherwood Williford doing a great job. You know, we didn't talk much about Jason Spear, currently shown in 9th spot. He's up 12 spots on the night, having himself another nice solid run. Back up front, though, it's pretty much status quo here. These two trucks continue nose to tail with TJ Bartel about a second back, right where he's been. So he's not gaining, he's not losing, not a lot of movement there. Look in on Randy McCanny and see if he's been gaining anything on TJ Bartel.
It just seems like there's a little bit of a bubble where, you know, if you're right there in the draft, you're going to gain a lot. But if you're just a little bit off, we're going to have a battle for the lead as the 42, and McDaniels goes to the inside of Helm.
Wow, McDaniel looking for the lead again, and you're right. Perhaps not the best place to be out front. As now Zach McDaniel regaining the lead with 2-lap older tires. This is amazing. I thought Helm would get up there and walk away, but that's just not the case.
With this draft package, it just doesn't seem like you're able to do it. And that is going to help TJ Bartel just a little bit. He's able to close just a little bit of a gap. The one thing that was good about that, if you're Helm, McDaniels was able to clear you very quickly, and it didn't really give TJ what he needed to really get to the back of him. Now, Helm's going to be able to fall in line, kind of use that draft and not abuse his tires and just try to set up the 42. And I think Helm's really in the best position here, with the exception of how hard the 42 is willing to block.
Well, do you think he did that on purpose? I mean, it seems like these guys are fighting for second place, not for first place, Brad.
Yeah, you never really know. I mean, it could be one of those things where, nerve gets a little bit better of you. You think you're just kind of pushing the truck a little too hard and you're not going to have the tire at the end of the day. But that 26 he's there, and, he might be just playing a little bit of possum here. And, it would not be a bad strategy just to kind of save as much tire as you can and just be ready to mount that charge when you need to, knowing that you can push the 42, and he's going to do everything he can to keep you behind it and wear out as much of his equipment and tire as he will.
Yeah, when I say that about the falling into second, is I believe these trucks are loose out here tonight, and I believe that when you get in behind a guy, it just tightens up, it gets a little bit better, and you can handle it, and you could pass, but why would you want to? Why not wait? Wait for 2 to go, make your move. I mean, it could be too late at that point. It's a risky game, Brad.
No, it really is. And, the biggest thing that I've seen, too, with these guys, they change the way they drive when they're behind them. They do exactly what they should be doing when they're leading. They kind of let off a little bit earlier. They know that down the straightaways, they're going to close that distance back up. But once they get to that corner, as you see the 26 really pushing the issue now all over the back of the 42.
And I don't know if he's trying to harass him or he's trying to help him. Because they see TJ Bartel, he's back under 8/10 now. He's coming. And he's going to get a sniff of that draft, Brad. And we know the air package these days, you never used to be able to draft up, but it really is helping these days.
Oh, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Once TJ Bartel gets a little bit closer, he's going to be there in a matter of laps just because of the amount of draft he's going to get. And we're coming up on some lap traffic, and it's battling lap traffic. Too wide is, directly in front of him. You have a couple of guys trying to battle their way through it. I got a feeling that they'll probably get nose to tail and try to let these leaders by, but at the same time, that might be what TJ Bartel needs to kind of close that gap.
Yeah, it might. I mean, TJ's gaining, then he's losing. He's really status quo, and this might help him here. Not quite the drive off that they're used to.
Well, if anything, it'll put another truck in between them that TJ can draft to kind of leapfrog to get to them, possibly.
Yeah, anything's possible. It remains around 8/10 back to him. But really, right now, this has allowed the 42 to get a little racing room here. And he's going to take advantage of it and see if he can't jump out a bit. TJ just not able to capitalize on this situation right now. We're under 20 laps with 19 to go now. It's Zach McDaniel, followed by Brian Helm, TJ Bartel in third. Randy McCanny having a nice night, still in fourth place. Ronnie Royal sitting in fifth. And Matty Watkins in sixth now. Just a great race here, only his second race, I believe, in the truck series, looking good. Justin Kirby was new to the league, I think this season. He's having a nice run. Bobby Terrell back here all alone in eighth. Jason Spear way behind. He's in ninth with Sherwood Williford rounding out the top 10 right on his bumper.
Absolutely, and all of these guys are really putting in a great race. We've had a lot of racing, a lot of close battles, a lot of side by side on a track that it's fairly tough. And the biggest thing, and I hate to knock it or anything like that, no cautions. We're back to green flag racing here at FTSR Racing. A lot of respectful racing tonight. It's been great to watch.
It really has. In this traffic, these leaders handled this traffic so well. They put about 6 more tenths on TJ Bartel, now almost a second and a half back. That's going to make it a 2-man race. With 17 to go, though, 42 starting to walk away a bit here. The 26 has got to regather up here and make another run at him.
Yeah, I've been watching that 42, and he's at a different line going through these corners, especially in 3 and 4. He was always a little bit better in 1 and 2, in my opinion, than Brian Helm. Where he was really struggling was in 3 and 4. And if you kind of watch him, he's entering about a lane and a half higher, and he's kind of, changing the arc of his corner to where he's getting to the bottom, but he's not getting to the bottom very early. Is this, this lap car is really going to possibly give him a problem here, coming right up on him with those fresh tires.
Yeah, this could help the 26. It could hurt him. We'll see how this plays out here. That's going to be the 13 of Darren Schneider out there as he moves up the track. Going to make this pass on the outside. That's going to bring Brian Helm right back up here, almost to the bumper of the 42.
Darren Snyder, one of our rookies, going out there, and he's going to try to do the best he can for his race night, but he's currently 5 laps down. That's definitely not something that the 42 is going to like. He's going to remember it, not that he did anything wrong, just the fact that he looks back and he sees that 26 a little bit closer now.
Yeah, the 13 not doing anything wrong there. He got fresher tires. He's got to make that move when he can. It's just a really tough situation for the 42. But right now, he looks great out here. Zach McDaniel continuing to lead Brian Helm. And I don't know. I don't think Brian Helm's got anything for him. He needs a little bit of luck here. Maybe a little bobble from the 42.
Yeah, ever since the 42 kind of changed his line in 3 and 4, he's really been able to step it out just a little bit. He's just that much faster. I mean, currently that lap he ran a 30.70 to Brian Helm's 30.80, so just a tenth quicker that lap, and it continues to kind of be that way. And the nice thing is the 42, he's able to come up on a little bit of lap traffic, so he's not by himself. He's not really losing draft. TJ Bartel, he's kind of falling off the back. He might actually end up in the clutches of Randy McCanny by the time this is all said and done.
Yeah, he just might. Randy McCanny, we haven't talked. Oh, and there's a caution on the track.
Oh, no, see, this changes everything.
I'm unaware of what happened out here. It looks like Matty Watkins, something happening with him. We'll try and get a look at that right away. Here you see inside is Kirby, outside is Watkins. They're coming up on McMullen. Oh, and Kirby just a little jaught up the track there. Little contact. Watkins hard into the outside wall.
And we saw earlier Kirby being very aggressive early on, throwing some blocks. I don't think that was anything malicious at anything. I think he had a guy in front of him, lost the front end, and just pushed up the racetrack. Unfortunately, a great night from Matty Watkins, unfortunately ended early.
Yeah, that's going to be super unfortunate for the 999, but I got to tell you, Matty Watkins, a great showing here. The guys in the league have, made note of how he ran here tonight, doing a great job. Right now, all important pit stops about to take place.
That was very unfortunate, but the two of Randy McCanny and 47 TJ Bartel, they have to be ecstatic about it. All of a sudden, they are back in this. They're going to get 4 fresh tires. They know that they got a fast truck, especially early on. We're going to go back green with less than 10 laps to go. This is going to be a shootout.
Oh yeah, we got ourselves a shootout for a finish. I expect nothing less with this Blackwater Products USA Truck Series. What an entertaining finish we're going to have. There's no doubt about it. All these trucks can run 10 laps equally, and we've seen the swapping that went on earlier in the race. Is going to be great.
We talked about no aggression. There's going to be blocking. There's going to be aggression. At the end of the race last week, we heard drivers go, "Oh, I forgot I could have chosen the outside lane." I don't think anybody's going to choose the outside lane here tonight. The bottom lane has been where it's at. So it looks like the 42, he's going to be able to come off pit road in first, followed by the 26. Randy McCanny is actually going to gain a spot, come out third with TJ Bartel behind him.
Wow, is that ever big for McCanny? What a move by him to come into third. We know that low line's so good on the restarts. It's going to put TJ Bartel on the outside of row number 2. That's really going to hurt. McCanny might be in the best spot here to challenge.
I think he is. He's going to have a full draft in front of him. We saw earlier on the initial restart that the bottom line is where you wanted to be. The first 2 cars in the bottom line was able to pass the outside pole sitter. And if you got stuck on the outside, especially early, you went from first to 7th in a matter of 3 laps. You just couldn't get down, and you just didn't have the grip on the outside that the guys had on the bottom.
You got to ask yourself, how did McCanny do it? You look at these pit times here. McCanny with a 14.1. You got Kirby with a 14.6. Terrell, 14.8. Everybody else in the field, 15 or higher. So 14.1 is just incredible from Randy McCanny.
Now the question: will this be our last caution?
Yeah, you never know in these situations. Aggression's going to run high. Contact could happen. Anything could happen here at the end. You've got to go because you don't know if you get one or even two cautions. You've got to get the spots when you can get them. You can't be thinking, oh, let's wait a few laps. No, no, no. It's time to go. Time to go now.
Yeah, I got to think though. Randy McCanny is going to be my pick as far as being in the best position. He's still going to have to get clear of the 42 Zach McDaniels. Zach McDaniels will not let that bottom lane open up. I guarantee that. He will block you all the way down this backstretch. We've seen it earlier. But I think that Randy McCanny is in the best spot to play spoiler here. But the 24 Ronnie Royal, I will not put it by him.
Well, the thing is, if you're, so we have different situations, right? Zach McDaniel racing for a race win and nothing else. Randy McCanny, really the same deal. I mean, he is a little bit newer, so maybe a little more conscious about being clean. But Brian Helm, our championship leader, the last thing he needs is to get wrecked here. Will he give a little? I doubt it. I mean, these guys want the win. They want it bad. TJ Bartel, he's in that points race as well. I don't know what he's got, but looking further back, guys who could make some moves, we've seen, Casey McMullen, he's third in points now. He's back in 14th. We've seen how good he was for the first 5 laps or so, Brad. Can he pick up some much needed points?
I think McMullen went ahead and took the wave by, so I don't think he's going to be a factor or be able to pick up anything. He's still going to be on those older tires, unfortunately for him. I just don't think Helm's going to have anything being on the outside. I think the top two, as long as McCanny is on this restart, I think they're going to be able to get clear of the 26, and then it's going to be a matter of whether or not he can actually fall in line behind them, which is going to be dependent on what the 24 does. I just don't think that top line has had anything for the entire night.
Yeah, you're right. As we're watching guys from Brandon Elder on back all taking that wave around. So they're not really in a position to do anything from back there. But you got Jared Carr. What about Jared Carr back in 12th spot? He came up and took the lead early on in this race.
Yeah, definitely another car. I mean, a lot of it's going to be where, kind of the choose rule, if you will. If you're on the bottom, I think you're at a distinct advantage, where if you're on the top, you're at a disadvantage. So it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to just kind of muscle their way through. And you know what? I would not be surprised to see 3 wide at all.
No, I wouldn't be surprised at all, man. I'm just loving this. The anticipation here, this shootout. We're on 8 to go, going to be 7 to go at the line. Zach McDaniel leading them down. Pace car off the track. He's ready to see the green flag. McDaniel and Helm. And here we go, folks. Heading down into 1. Side by side, the 42 and 26. McCanny making a move on the inside.
Folks, we got a car around behind him, the 59. Off into the grass. Heavy contact to the inside pit wall.
We stay with our leaders here as there's no caution as of yet. McCanny pushing hard on the 42 down low. There is blocking going on. They stay way down the track. The 26 up high, looking to find something up there that'll work. Oh, and McCanny slides up the track. He's going to go to the outside. We are 3 wide. The 24 down the middle. The 42 is getting swarmed by everybody here. McCanny's in the lead.
Helm back to the bottom. He's going to try to make a run on him down this backstretch.
And McCanny's sideways. He's losing it. There goes Helm. Helm's by. Here comes Bobby Terrell. Oh, the 58 wrecking in behind him. And he is clobbered by the 71. Oh, and there is a lot of damage on that one.
Yeah, the aggression level just wasn't going to hold.
As we get a look in on this replay. What action up front, but here we go. We're looking at Kirby, the 58. And you see him on the high side here, coming down the track. He just keeps coming down until he takes out the 83. I'm not sure what he was thinking there, Brad.
Yeah, the 71 unfortunately comes in, gets a big heavy hit right there at the end. It's probably going to end his night as well, and probably ultimately end his points.
We're going to look from the far chase here, behind the 58, come out of the corner, and you start drifting down the track, and he keeps drifting down the track and just takes out the 83. He must not have known he was there. He's up on the track. The 71 gets him. That takes him out. Oh,
Well, you
what
see,
a night.
he came all the way from that top side. He just kind of just kept moving it. One thing that we never really hear about on a mile and a half is line blind, and you can easily get that. And it's just one of those things where you're not quite sure. You want to be on top, you want to be at the bottom, but I got to think he just wanted to have visibility going into that corner and just never realized he was there.
Wow, that was incredible action. We're going to see if we can look in and see some action up front there. Let's see if this does it here. And you see here the block down on the inside. They come down in the corner. Helm on the high side with Bartel. Royal down low. McKinney drifts up the track. Helm does a nice job staying off him. Then they're 3 wide with Royal. Here comes Bartel. Everybody doing a great job up front here fighting. Bobby Terrell making a big move late in this race. He's coming through. And I mean, my goodness, these guys up front just did an awesome job. What a heck of a race. I don't know about that drifted down the track again. He just did not know that the 83 was there. What a battle up front, Brad. My God.
Oh, I don't think it's done. It's not done by any stretch of the imagination. You're gonna have Brian Helm line up on the inside with TJ Bartel on the outside. Randy McCanny, we just saw in that restart he was going to give it everything. I gotta expect him to do the same thing. Ronnie Royal is going to be there. New player, if you will, Bobby Terrell. First time he's been in the top 5 all night. He's not going to let this opportunity go to waste. Zach McDaniel is going to be looking for a little bit of redemption. He's currently in 6th position. Sherwood Williford, there you go, 7th place. Into the night when it's time to cash that check, he's always up there in that top 10. So, a couple new players up front, and it's going to be very interesting to see what exactly Brian Helm can do. He's in the preferred lane now, I would have to say, on the bottom line. But Randy McCanny, he's going to give it to him, and I think TJ Bartel's going to go into that corner on his door as close as he can through 1 and 2, not give him as much of the preferred line as he wants.
Yeah, I mean, I got to catch my breath. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. You got our point leader out front with a bunch of hungry sharks here in behind. I mean, it's unbelievable. And you're right about Sherwood. I mean, Mr. Top 10, I mean, I don't know if he likes that name, and I'm not sure. It's just amazing to me to watch him back in 15th spot, or wherever he's at, and work his way. Here he is in 7th spot. Him and another veteran and Bobby Terrell in the 4 up 14 spots. These guys, man, they just know how to get it done at the end, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kid and I say, Mr. Top 10, if you will. And I mean no disrespect by that. That just kind of tells you how good he really is. When it's come to the time to the end of the race to where these points are to be paid, he's going to make his way up. It doesn't matter if he's got a bad pit stop. It doesn't matter if he's got a bad qualifying. He's going to put it up front, and he's going to be somewhere towards the end to be a factor. But man, this is going to be a very fun and very interesting last couple of laps here. I'm ready to just put up my feet. And, I'm just going to watch. I'm just going to listen, see how this works out.
No doubt. This is just amazing.
And yeah,
that's a term of not only affection, but a term of respect. I mean, you look at the stats, nobody gets more top 10s than this man, and his truck is usually clean, at least of his own doing. So high respects to the 33s driving out here on a day-to-day basis. But right now, give respect to Brian Helm, points leader, race leader. Here he is with 2 to go at the line, leading this thing, and he's got, like I said, all these hungry sharks behind him. This is just going to be incredible, folks.
Yeah, it really is. Take a look at these trucks. Really good right now, everybody, because you know what? In 3 laps, some of them might not look as good as they do right now.
That's definitely right. They may not. But they did a great job up front, 3 wide, and all that mixing around, and there was no contact up there. This guy is just excellent driving right now. The anticipation for this restart building in these drivers as they come here around corner number 4. Pace car is off the track. 26 leading them down to the green flag.
Green, green, green.
Green flag, down and away. He's got a good jump. McKinney again, right to the bumper. He's doing a great job trying to get in there and take that second spot away from TJ Bartel, who swings it up high.
And McKinney had an excellent restart that time, did everything he could, get right on the back. He's going to clear the 47 right down his back stretch. I think 26 is definitely going to hold that bottom line. He's going to do everything he can. We got to be very careful on N2 and 3 here.
Yeah, the 2 trying the high line. He might have found something up there. I just can't hold it. Here comes Bobby Terrell on the low side.
Oh, we got a wreck.
All right, man, caution.
Oh, and that may not be official. Well, it is. We might have a green-white checker here. We'll have to get a look on that. If that was the end of it, that's Brian Helm followed by Bobby Terrell. And I think that might be the end, folks. I think that was a green-white checker, so we probably will not have one. Let's get a replay here. Here comes the pace car. We just might. Let's take a look in on Zach McDaniel here in the 42 as he's in the middle. 24 is up high. McDaniel in the middle. They come off the corner. Oh, and it just, I don't even know if they touched. Look like possible little net code there. Back it up a bit more.
And I think it came out just early enough to not complete the lap.
Yeah, it was a little net code followed by a hit, and that is really just some late race, tough racing. Really tough one there. Zach McDaniel having himself a night up to that point. It looks like the checkered flag is coming out, and that's going to end the race here with Brian Helm, your race winner, followed by Randy McKinney and Bobby Terrell. So a little unfortunate for that to end the race, but that's the way it's going to go down here. And Helm, man, what more can you say about him? Points leader, now the race winner here at the Texas 200. And what about Randy McKinney? What an effort he made at the end of this race, Brad.
Oh, he really did. But, what about Bobby Terrell? This is the first he's been in the top 5 all night. He was in the top 5 for 3 laps, but it was the 3 laps that counted.
It was a truly where did he come from moment, because the 4 are really not in this thing at all. To end up on the podium, just a miracle, just a great driving job, but nobody better than the 26 at Brian Helm. I mean, he's going to extend that, virtually clinching this playoff. I mean, it's not clinched by any stretch, but with 2 races to go and the quality of driver he is, Brad, I think this championship is mostly in the bag for him.
Yeah, I mean, TJ Bartel put up a heck of a fight. Ronnie Royal, his closest competitor, he's going to come home 7th, but this is definitely, his championship to lose at this point. I don't think anybody can really take it from him. He's just got to be consistent, and he's got to feel great going in the last couple of races because, they can be some treacherous racetracks for sure.
They really can. Anything could happen and will happen. Right now, let's take a short commercial break. We'll come back with our race results and interviews with our top 3 finishers.
Coming up to the line, being chased, and it was Braden Johnson. Unbelievable finish. It was 1/1000th of a second between them.
Green flag in the air. We are racing in the 2020 24 Hours of Daytona.
They go door to door for the feature race lead here on the last lap of the race. Side by side for the race lead in the final corner at Homestead. Down the back straightaway, 3 wide again for the race lead. This is unbelievable stuff here tonight.
Loma is going to have to be very deep on the brakes, and he is very deep on the brakes. It's side by side through the corner. This is for the win.
race side by side. Davies low, Ottinger high. To the very inside is Garrett Lowe. 4 wide at the stripe.
For all his work here on this outside line, neck and neck. Who's going to back out? Does anyone back out?
Verstappen starts to squeeze on the inside, and now he'll try and straight line it. Goes under the apron, drag race to the line. It's so close to call.
Oops. Welcome back to the Blackwater Products USA Truck Series, live on Full Throttle TV, where we had one heck of a finish, Brad.
We really did, and that was a great finish, and it capped off the night with a couple of unfortunate cautions and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we had a finish that really summed up the way the race was the entire night, with hard racing all night long.
Yeah, all kinds of hard racing. Great racing all night long. The end there, a little anticlimactic with that late caution with 1 to go. But other than that, I mean, the right before that, the caution before that, just amazing driving by the top 10 there. Incredible job. But our race winner, Brian Helm, just not much more you can say from him, from Smokey and the Bandit Racing, just putting on a clinic here of falling into second and retaking the lead and where to be and how to drive your car. Just an excellent job all around. Randy McCanny in the 2 after winning the Cup race from that GT Performance Sim Sport Racing team. I mean, what a night for him. All night in the top 5, ends up in second. Hell of a job. Bobby Terrell in third, just out of nowhere. He gets that third and final podium spot. TJ Bartel in the 47. Very solid evening for him. In 5th place, Sherwood Williford in the 33. My God, not only a top 10, a top 5. Excellent job by him. Tim Bills will be in 6th with Ronnie Royal 7th. Gerringer in 8th. Jared Carr 9th. And Wayne Grassi round out your top 10.
11's going to be Brandon Elder. Good night for him on that Steve Berry Racing machine. Lane Allen's going to come home 12th. 13th Staubach. We're going to have the Paul Sargent, come home 15th with Raging Moose Racing. Then you're going to have the likes of Bratton and Zach McDaniel. Unfortunately, it ran up front all night. He's going to come home currently in the 17th position. A little bit further back in the field, we're going to have the likes of Rory Collins coming home 20th. Darren Snyder 21st, Stephen Lewis 22nd.
Yeah, I see Kirby down there in 26 after that unfortunate accident. Matty Watkins in the 999, 27th, and Jason Martin 28th. Those two having really good race trucks tonight, at least early on, and Matty having in particular, what a real nice race for him and a tough outcome for that truck.
Yeah, it definitely didn't have the finish he was hoping for, but he put a lot out there and he showed a lot of his, and I'm sure a lot of his fellow drivers exactly what kind of driver he is, and he's going to be somebody to definitely watch in the future here in FTSR.
Oh, he most certainly is. Right now, let's get a word with our 3rd place finisher, the number 4, Bobby Terrell. Bobby, where'd you come from? Literally, where did you come from?
Way back in the back, somewhere back there.
I mean, my goodness, this has got to be the most thankful or happy 3rd place finish you might ever had.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I mean, I did not have a fast truck at all. I mean, I knew that after I got passed by the 999, how fast his truck was. So I knew I didn't have the fastest truck by any means. So I just tried to take care of it and run it the best it would run. I mean, if you look at my times or fast lap time, it was 2 or 3 tenths off of those guys. But I just got what I could out of it. I mean, if that caution hadn't come out, I would, it would have been a top 10 truck. But sometimes you get lucky. I was ready for him though at the end though, because she was ready. She's ready to go.
She had her all cranked up and ready to go. We seen that. That was a thrilling. But let's not get there yet. Let's start with, early in the race, I think the first run, you ended up somewhere around 15th, Bobby, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not like you just cruised and worked your way up like you normally would. It really didn't have it. Did you make some adjustments in the garage? And did it obviously helped some?
Yeah, I made some adjustments, but I actually went the wrong way on the second. I don't remember which one, but the last stop, I went the wrong way with it. So, like I said, when that caution came out, I went back the other way and then some, and it seemed to help it a lot. But I mean, I forgot what I moved up to on that first run. I don't know if I got in the top 10 or not, but I think I did maybe, but I can't remember when we pitted. I'm just not for sure. I just know that I was going, trying to get up there.
Well, you did a great job. I mean, veterans like yourself and a Sherwood Williford who finished fifth tonight. I mean, you guys just have a knack for doing this. This is what veterans do. Now, let's get into it, man. Let's get to the end of that race. That was some entertaining racing. Unfortunate couple of cautions behind you guys, but up front, an amazing job by the top, 6 or 8 guys, man, going 3 wide and all kinds of movement around there, staying clean and really hard racing.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was really hoping that we would get at least 5 to 7 laps there at the end, just to see how the adjustments I made would play out. If I had anything for them, I thought maybe I might have, maybe get in there with them. But Brian is I mean, he's so good with setups and such a hard competitor and so fast. I probably wouldn't have had nothing for him or TJ either one. I hated it for TJ there at the last. I mean, he he ran so solid all night long, and to kind of knock him out of a third place finish, I felt bad.
Well, that's racing, though, man. You can't feel too bad for him. He had himself a nice, solid night. But, Bob, we were thoroughly impressed once again with your ability to make something out of nothing, and a great job tonight. Third place finish, up 16 spots from your starting spot. Man, we'll give you the floor. Any shout outs, any thanks you want to give?
Yeah, I would like to thank FTSR, the league overall, for all the admins, everything they do. You guys up in the booth, I watch the replays, and I mean, just y'all do such a fantastic job up there. Blackwater for sponsoring the series. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to televise these races. And congrats to Brian. Like I said, he's good. He's got good setup ability, and he's always up to the front. And all the other drivers that raced me clean tonight, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Brad. That's Bobby Terrell, man. We're going to name him Mr. Where Do You Come From after that race.
Yeah, absolutely. Bobby did a great run all night today. But you know what? I'm standing by the 2 truck who qualified second, going for 2 wins in a row at Texas, or 2 wins in a row after winning the Cup race earlier. Started from second, comes home second. Man, that's a lot of 2s. But you know what? I'm standing by here with Randy McCanny. Randy, how was your race tonight, buddy?
Thanks, Brad. It was pretty uneventful there until the end, and then things intensity really picked up at that last restart.
Well, it really seemed like you got a fast truck right off the bat. When we started this, it seemed like, if you start, depending on where you started, inside lane versus outside lane, right off the bat, determined kind of what you were going to run. And that whole first run, it seemed like you were part of the 5 fast trucks that just really broke away from everybody. And then pit stops happened. Kind of talk us through your night, how, the pit strategy kind of changed where you're running and whether or not you really had an opportunity to, and just how much the draft really affected the trucks tonight.
The draft was actually the biggest factor that helped me keep in that top 5. Started out the run, we kind of had a pit strategy. We knew what pit window we wanted to be, what laps we wanted to be roughly. A couple of leaders pitted a couple laps before us, so we kind of got behind on that, and then we made up on that second run. I thought in the third run that we'd have a real good shot, and just started getting in lap traffic. And like I said, that not the very last caution, the one before that stacked us all back up, that changed pretty much everything.
Now, I see you out here running Ford. Am I to assume that you're also part of Team Ford?
I am. It's pretty much a couple teams that work together on setups, kind of help each other out, trying to get all the Ford guys together on the same page and building setups. So kind of get in competition with some of these faster teams. There's just outstanding talent, and just so hard to describe how hard you have to run to keep up with some of these guys.
Oh no, absolutely. Some of these guys have just pure, talent, whether or not it's building the setups or the driving, and we don't want to take it away from anybody, but you can definitely see and tell when Team Ford actually kind of embraced the manufacturer side of it and really started working together. The payoff is really starting to become apparent with these Fords starting to really run up front. You guys got to be really proud, as far as a kind of manufacturer secondary team, if you will, that you guys are really starting to see some of the payoffs from the effort that you guys are really putting out there.
Oh, absolutely. This just started maybe 4 or 5 races ago that we kind of got together and agreed that we'd help each other's every other team. It's pretty much an open notebook for all the 4 teams that everybody's sharing setups, ideas, how to build setups, and pit strategies. We're kind of working really well together, and like I said, over the last couple of weeks, it's really taken off.
Well, you may have thought it was kind of a quiet race right up till the end, but I can tell you now, from being up in the booth, we enjoyed covering it. The entire race was very, very well ran. It was we hated to see the cautions at the end there, but it definitely helped us in the booth, gave us really an exciting finish, and everybody watching a great finish. Some guys unfortunately caught up in a little bit of an incident. We're going to kind of turn over the mic to you, let you thank anybody you want to thank, but congratulations on second place finish, and it's good to see you up in the booth, man, and we're looking forward to seeing you up here quite a bit more.
Thanks, Brad. I really enjoy being up here. It really means that setups are working, but I think you, Brad, Dean, Blackwater Products, everybody at Full Throttle Sim Racing, awesome league, great league. I'm having a blast with all you guys. Everybody on Team Ford, Jared, TJ, really, me and him worked together a lot on this setup, so it was his vision. He actually made the base setup, so all the hats go off to him. Great win, Brian Helm.
All right. Well, that was Randy McCanny and the Ford 2 truck. Dean, I believe you're standing by with our race winner tonight.
Yeah, I got the 26, Brian Helm, point leader, race winner here at the Texas 200. Congrats on just a fabulous race, Brian.
Yeah, thanks. Man, I got lucky at the end of that race. Got in the right spot at the right time, didn't I?
Man, I guess so. I mean, that was, you once said about playing checkers versus chess. That was a game of checkers there at the end. Anything could have happened, man, and you positioned yourself just exactly correctly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really, to be honest with you, I was trying to figure out how to be Zach until that yellow come out, and I mean, he had an amazing car, and I lost a little bit in traffic right there, right before that yellow come out, and I was about half second back from him. I'm like, God, I'm not sure I can get back to him, but unfortunately, he had a problem there in one of those restarts, but he was really fast.
Yeah, very unfortunate. The cautions kind of hurt him a lot there, but his loss, your gain. Let's talk a little bit about that battle at the end. That was some incredible driving, not only by you, but really by the top 8 or so. I mean, going 3 wide, no beating, no banging, man. Everybody really clean up front.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had to restart that one restart on the outside, and I find myself fading back because you couldn't hang on new tires. You couldn't hang on that outside. And Randy come driving by me and then jumped up in front of me, and I kind of pushed him down the front stretch, which helped me clear the other 2 guys when I was 3 wide. And I go blowing into one, and Randy kind of overdrove the corner or something, got a little high, and in turn one, if you didn't keep it right on the bottom, you were going to drift out. And I ended up in the lead, and then we had another yellow, and I'm thinking, oh boy, here we go. And I mean, I was pretty much in blocking mode because Randy was really fast.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the blocking. We've seen that from Zach earlier in the race. We've seen it from, I think, Kirby earlier in the race or someone earlier in the race. Now, is that just the product of, this draft? Where this draft was incredible here on these trucks. This is something you pretty much had to do if you wanted to keep the lead. Is that correct?
Yeah, on that restart, I figured I had to be on the white line. He was going to have to go under the white line to get under me because I wasn't going to let him under me. And I figured if he could drive around the outside of me, I'll take a nice second place. But if he didn't do that, he would get a run. The run is huge. I know iRacing's probably going to do an update on Thursday. I understand. I'm hoping they kind of detune that draft a little bit, like a little more reality. But the fact is you could get a huge run off the draft.
Yeah, man, I never seen anything like it. Such a sustainable run too. So talk a little bit about the other parts of the race. You know, the first part of the race, you really got 4, even 5 trucks there. And is the draft allowing these guys to maintain with, say, yourself or say a Zach McDaniel?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't get away from. I mean, for the longest time on that second run, I was trying to break the draft of TJ Bartle. I could get in front of Zach and try to pull Zach, and then I get behind him and try to push. But you couldn't break the draft. It doesn't matter how good your set is, you can't break the draft if somebody's within a second of you. And you know, we finally did get a little bit of a break away from him, but then we got in traffic. But you know, it really is a huge factor when you're running these trucks.
Well, the other thing I was going to ask too, Brian, is we noticed you guys swapping the lead. Now, there was some tire difference late in the race, but you know, we thought Zach got in front of you and he would just take off, but he didn't. You were able to hang in there. Now, is that all draft, or was there a little bit of chess going on where your car? I was thinking maybe your truck's a little loose, and you guys were kind of jockeying to try and be in second instead of first.
Well, there's a little bit of the be in second. I was trying to think if I needed to be in second going into the last couple laps or whatever. But I mean, really, I was on the pit stops. I was going into the pits 2 laps after Zach, so I'd have fresher tires than him on a long run. But I really was thinking at the end of that race, if I could be right on him with 1 to go, I could probably get him. But you know, obviously it changed, and we ended up with 2 restarts. I was in super conservative mode. You know, I'm trying to be conservative because I'm the points leader, and I'm trying to pad that lead a little bit going into Martinsville, which I don't, you know, can always be a wild card. And so I'm trying to make sure that I'm in a position to actually win the championship.
Yeah, man. Well, you're a championship driver. You're the champion here of this race. You've done everything you can with only 2 races left. We wish you all the best of the luck going forward, and a huge congrats on tonight's victory, Brian.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I really love watching the broadcast. You guys do an amazing job, and you know, thanks to Blackwater for sponsoring the series, and also thanks to all the people that helped me get here. So I'm loving the series. It's a fun thing to do.
All right, Brad, you heard it. That's Brian Helm, tonight's race winner.
Absolutely. Spoken like a champion. You know, he's got 2 more races, and then there's a good possibility that he might have already clinched this championship. We'll definitely know by Martinsville. You know, but I got a good feeling that at the end of this championship run, that 26 of Brian Helm's going to be holding that trophy.
Yeah, that's a pretty safe bet there, Brad. There's no doubt about that. As we just try and get in here on the championship standings, see if we can get close to a fully updated here. There'll be a couple of points added here with Brian Helm leading now by around 55 points. That is a huge lead with 2 races left. Bernard Persson in third, TJ Bartel sitting there in 4th place. And I mean, these guys got all kinds of work go. TJ Bartel up, you know, and Ronnie Royal moves up. Casey McMullen falls down to 5th, Brad.
Yeah, definitely not the night Casey McMullen wanted, but he is a race behind. He hasn't been able to make all the races, but Brian Helm mathematically is still in the hunt, if you will. You know, the last thing he wants to do is go to Martinsville and have a really bad night. You know, we're getting 30 plus competitors sometimes on these truck races. You know, Martinsville might be a little bit of slower or lower turnout, which would be good for him. But any week, you know, he can lose quite a bit of points. But, you know, Bernard Persson does not have the time to make it up. So we got to have a couple of fantastic runs by Bernard to be able to make it, or 1 bad race by Brian to open the door.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. And we've got 2 tracks coming up, Brad, where that could happen. I mean, next week we're off to Martinsville. We follow it with Phoenix. Anything could happen here. These are indeed wild card races. I mean, they're usually clean and green here at Blackwater Products USA, but you never know. I mean, there could be some bumping and banging out there, and a lot could happen. We'll have all the coverage next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Coming up on other series, we have Sunday night. We have the I-States Racing Association and the FEGPC Xfinity Series. They're a great league. Make sure you come out and check that action out. Monday nights, the Dark Matter Designs Cup Series with Full Throttle Sim Racing. And on Tuesdays, we've just finished up the Thunder Series, but we'll be back with them hopefully a week from Tuesday. So I don't know, Brad. We got a full slate on here, and in this series in particular, man, did we have a thrilling finish, and we've had a lot of them this season.
Oh man, we really have, and we're just getting warmed up. We got newcomers coming in, we got rookies coming in late in the season that they're putting on great shows. So there's great things going for this league, the series in the future. But right now, we're just trying to make it to the end and see if Brian Helm's going to be able to hold off to cap this championship run that he's had this entire season. But there's good things to come, not just for the rest of this season, but further on into the future for FTSR Truck Series here.
Yeah, great things coming to Full Throttle Sim Racing and to Full Throttle TV. Make sure you come on out and see all the action. For myself, Dean Doucette, and for Brad Patterson, and for Full Throttle TV, that's going to wrap it up, and we'll see you all right here next time.